What up, what up? Facebook peeps, shaking. Alright, here's another how-to video, a little breakdown on your RV converter. Alright, let's get into it real quick with this camera. Bam! Alright, bet. So this is what we got. This is your converter, right? That's the converter box. Converter is always down low, 110 breakers, 12 volt side. Okay, so let's go over how this works. All right, this little box right here is a glorified battery charger. That's all a converter is. It's just a very expensive battery charger. So let's get into how it works and what's its purpose. All right, so we have these wires here. All right, you have ground, neutral, and black is what they call your load side. Okay, so if we look down onto the board, a lot of this stuff is already labeled. Sometimes it's labeled, right? It's down here. Okay, so we have what you call a bus bar. We have 1, 2, and this is breakers. All right, breakers is always going to be on your load side, right? The breakers is what handles the load. Okay, cool. There's another empty slot, 2 empty slots if you want to add additional breakers. Not a good idea because all these breakers already have homes. Okay, there's nothing else that needs to be added into this coach. All right, so this bus bar is for grounds only. Okay, green, when you see green wires, 90% of the time that is a ground. Okay, up top what we have is your neutral bus bar. All those wires are going to be white. All right, that's your neutral. Black, we have already discussed that they're your load side. Okay, so I still have to hook up my ground. I'm not going to hook it up just yet. I gotta trim that back and then put some crimps on it. But anyway, all right, so your converter is tied into the 110 side. All right, the converter also has its own breaker, which is going to be this one right here. It's a 15 amp breaker. All right, that it has its own load. Okay, so once you plug up the short power, what happens is you have AC that comes in, goes through the converter. Okay, so keep in mind we have AC that's entering the converter at this point. Okay, AC comes in, it runs through that chaos that you see there and turns it into DC. So now we have, you look down on the board, you see positive, negative. Okay, positive, negative now goes up to the 12 volt side. All right, each one of these blades goes to some type of appliance in the unit. If I had to say, this 3 is probably for a propane detector. This 4 could be for radio, possibly. Everything else could be, you know, water heater, refrigerator, bedroom lights, and so on. All right, 40 amp fuses are to protect this board. All right, if one of these fuses, one of these 40s blows, your converter will not charge this side of the 12 volt system. Okay, 12 volt system is going to have hot constant on one side of the board. Okay, it's always going to be constant power on one side of the board. All right, the fuse's purpose is to complete continuity. All right, it's to pretty much open and close a door. If your fuse is blown, the door is now closed, right? So it will not allow power to go from here to there. Okay, fuses, that's their purpose. They're, you know, to break it down and make it simple, they're doors. Okay, if a fuse blows, the door is now closed and it slams hard. When I mean slam hard, usually you start burning up stuff if it does not blow. Okay, all right, so converter comes in here, ties into your main 12 volt, your positive coming in, negative coming in, right? And then it starts to feed this line of fuses. Okay, it feeds this line of fuses. All right, so this converter is what allows power to be transferred from AC to DC, and now your camper is now working on DC appliances. Keep in mind, these breakers are for the 110 side of your appliances, meaning air conditioner, microwave, TVs, electric elements on water heaters. That's the electric side that work on 110. All right, but the 12 volt side, that's the purpose of the converter. Converter is to turn AC to DC. All right, so some of you may ask, well, what's these additional 2 wires here? Right, these additional 2 wires are coming from your tow vehicle, right, that are feeding on this, right? So this will go to the battery, right? All this stuff here is going to the battery. Your tow vehicle is tied into these 2 wires here. All right, they meet at the junction box underneath the A-frame. All right, so there's a junction box underneath the A-frame that these wires run down to go into the battery, and then off your charge wire, it's tied into this red wire that feeds into the battery. Okay, so when you're towing down the road and you got a good charge wire, it's charging your battery as you're going down the road. But if your charge wire is blown, it will not charge your battery. So if you hook up to your truck, you hook the trailer up to your truck and your battery's stone cold dead, and you don't get, your tongue jack doesn't work, it's a good chance that your charge wire does not work, has a blown fuse. Easy fix, find your owner's manual, find a fuse. 9 times out of 10, charge wires in tow vehicles are 30 amp fuses, all right? Causing, number 1 cause of fuses getting blown, they ground themselves out. Whether you're towing a trailer without grounding the positive lead, it'll touch the metal frame and arc out, blow the fuse in the truck. Or sometimes people, water gets in there, if the plug is sweating, and ground and positive touch each other, that completes continuity, dead short. All right, that's a whole nother topic, but I just wanted to get into the breakdown of what your converter does. Your converter pretty much turns AC to DC, feeds this panel, sends voltage to your 12 volt appliances. All right, on that note, yo, my hands are getting numb. They're getting numb, so I'm gonna end this video so I can wrap this job up and move to the next one. Until then, peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace.